Carly Fiorina criticized again for, of all things, her looks, but this time the comments are coming from women. Listen to this on The View.
She kicked off her thing saying, you know, people tell me that I didn't smile enough during the last debate. She looked demented. I mean, she did not, her mouth did not downturn one time. She was like,
Halloween mask. I love that.
A smiling Fiorina. Can you imagine?
Fiorina's campaign responding, quote, "This is the kind of political rhetoric conservative women have come to expect from the left." Well, what about it? Judith Miller joins us, Pulitzer Prize-winning investigative reporter, author, and Fox News contributor. Lynn Sweet joins us, Washington bureau chief for the Chicago Sun-Times. Great to see you both. So, Judith, you know, the women of The View calling her smile demented, her face could have been a Halloween mask. I mean, first of all, Judith, how is that relevant? And, you know, is it not just inappropriate, but sexist?
Well, of course it is. But, Greg, why are you expecting anything else from the women of The View? The View is not a news show. They are not journalists. They are Hollywood celebrities. They are openly liberal, very, very liberal, capital L exclamation point, and I don't mean as in Jeb. I mean, of course they're going to be nasty, and they're going to sit around as if they're just having a little conversation over coffee. That's not what we should be worried about. Why anybody should care what they think is irrelevant, you know, especially Lynn, conservative women.
Weeks ago, when Trump, in the infamous Rolling Stone magazine interview, was making fun of Fiorina's face, The View invites Trump to call in, and Joy Behar absolutely excoriates him for making fun of her face. And now, here they are, all five of them, doing the exact same thing. Is it just beyond hypocrisy?
I think it's just thoughtlessness at the time of trying, as Judy's saying, these are not journalists. And I don't think this has, this probably just has the pressure of trying to be funny and trying to be relevant and talk about the debate. Ill-advised, not the way to go. Taunting someone on their looks doesn't really show that you know a lot. You know, what does that show? That you're smart irrelevant, or that you know something? It's not even all that witty, kind of like locker room talk for women. So I would say just kind of disqualify it as having deep meaning, and just remind us all to be polite and civil and not taunt people and how they look.
You know who had the best line of the day about all of this yesterday? Hot Air. You can go to their website. They're kind of funny sometimes. Hot Air said this: Trump could have clinched the nomination today by calling into The View and telling them that all five of them are morons. So we'll leave it at that, and somebody ought to install mirrors in their dressing rooms. Okay, let me move on to now topic number two. This week's GOP presidential debate was a ratings win for CNBC, but some critics say the moderators were still the biggest losers of the night. So, Judith, what about that? John Harwood in particular made mistakes in his facts. And then he began, for example, editorializing, asking Trump if his campaign was out of a comic book. Is this beyond the pale, and what does it show us?
It is beyond the pale, and I think it shows us that people who are trying to look tough sometimes confuse being rude with being tough. There is a difference. You can be extremely polite and ask searing, difficult questions. What was stunning about their performance was that these are people who supposedly represent a financial network. They're not known to be raving liberals, but when they couldn't even ask a follow-up question when, for example, Marco Rubio challenged Becky Quick, who was a last knot that night, on her question. It was a legitimate question about whether or not he was financially responsible enough to be president. She didn't know enough about the Rubio story to be able to come back at him. Now, that's not only rude, it's just ill-prepared.
Note to moderator, if you're going to use a quote, know the source of your quote. You know, sort of fundamental. But Lynn, was there an overriding personal sort of condescending tone to the moderator's questions, as though all they really cared about was stirring controversy rather than eliciting substance?
I have a little different theory. I think they just took an ill-advised course. At one point, Becky Quick did do the proper follow-up when she was talking to Ben Carson about his type-based flat tax plan, and she noted it would cut a massive chunk of federal government spending.
Right.
If they had just stuck to what they know best, which is financials, they could have asked questions in whatever tone they liked because they needed to master their subject more. And so while I applaud her on that one question, they also didn't seem to have their game plan out to properly follow up, which when the Fox hosts had their debate, they had everything. When Anderson Cooper and CNN had their debate, it does seem, as Judy said, you've got to know the facts. And these are big organizations that have big political departments behind them to help.
You've got a long time to prepare. You gotta master your facts. That's fundamental. Last question to you, Judith. Marco Rubio may have uttered sort of the line of the night when he said the most powerful and dangerous Democratic super PAC is the mainstream media. Judy, did the CNBC debate prove that?
No, I think it proves that a set of journalists who were asking questions that night were, as Lynn suggests, ill-advised and ill-prepared. I think that reporters in general, as we all know, tend to be liberal, tend to self-identify as Democrats. Therefore, it behooves all of us as reporters to go out of our way to appear at least to be fair and balanced, which so far we haven't seen a lot of, except for, I would like to think, the Fox News debate.
Maybe the ladies of The View will moderate a debate in the near future, and gee, wouldn't that be meaningful? Judith Miller, Lynn Sweet, good to see you both. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.